This story is for you, Chapter 2. Downstairs, Eddie's dog began barking madly in its cage, waking Cian. He could see it in his mind, circling and growling. The dog was nasty, it snapped and it bullied. The dog and its owner were well matched. Cian lay silent and still, listening. He was trying to work out if Eddie was still in the house, but he could hear nothing except the sound of the dog. He lay on top of his mattress, staring at the ceiling. The smell of cigarette smoke seeped beneath his door. He put his hand to his side of his face and winced. His jaw and left eye socket hurt. Cian studied a long black cobweb that stretched from the naked light bulb at the centre of the room to the curtain rail over which a bed sheet was draped. He blew gently and the cobweb swung slowly from side to side. For a brief moment, the dog fell silent as Cian heard voices outside. Something cracked against his window. He held his breath. No one moved on the other side of his hollow bedroom wall. He breathed in, held his breath again, and waited. Another crack. Cian winced. Still, there was no movement from Mum and Eddie's room. Was he alone in the house? Cautiously, Cian stood up and looked to see Sean and Molly, along with another lad. They were standing in the alley, hands on hips. Sean gestured for Cian to join them. Cian frowned, put his fingers to his lips, then stuck up his thumb. Still wearing the same clothes from last night, Cian tiptoed across the room. He held his breath as he slowly opened his bedroom door. Then he crept across the landing and down the wooden stairs, avoiding stepping on the 3 that he knew would creak and the 2 that were hopelessly splintered and cracked. Once he was outside, he felt like he could breathe again. "Blimey," Molly said, as Cian picked his way through the long grass over a sodden mattress, then climbed through one of the 2 holes at the back fence. "What happened to your face?" "It happened last night," Cian muttered, "after the police brought me home." Sean was nodding. "We saw the car," he said. "Everyone knows." Molly came to touch Cian's face. He drew a sharp intake of breath. "Severe," she said, looking to the upstairs windows of Cian's house. "Let's get going then." "We'll go down to my old Uncle Ian's house," Sean said, and the 4 of them started walking towards the canal. "So you didn't, give our names?" Molly asked, "to the police." Cian shook his head. "Of course not," he said. "Did they even ask?" Sean asked. "Yeah," Cian replied, "they asked, but you didn't say out." Cian shook his head. "I just kept telling them I was on my own," he said. "They got tired of asking me in the end." "Then this, good sir, shall be your reward." Molly laughed. In a mock posh accent, she produced a long brass key from her pocket. Wide-eyed, Cian took hold of it. He looked quizzically first at Molly, then Sean. "Robbed it from the shop last night," Sean laughed. "Reckon it might be the key to the back door," Molly smirked. "Looks like treasure to me, I dunno. Anyway, nice one. No one likes the grass." "No one," Sean emphasised, as Cian put the key into his jeans pocket. He glanced at the older boy, who grinned. The other boy's eyes had that thing about them that made you not want to look at them for too long. "Ain't that right, Cav?" Cav? Cian knew him now. They went to the same infant school, but Cav went to a different junior school. Word was Cav had been excluded years ago. "That's right," Cav nodded. Suddenly, Cian realised why Cav was there. He looked away and changed the subject. "What did you do with the books?" he asked. Molly laughed. "Chucked them in the canal, once you got caught and everything." Cian felt a sharp pain in his chest. It had all been so pointless. I'm just going to have a little break in the story just to introduce you to someone, because it's always good to have a break in a story. This is Finn, and Finn's my dog. Say hello, Finn. Hello. This is Finn, and Finn is the reason you can hear scratching, rattling noises in the room. Is Finn is with me today. Anyway, back to the story. Molly laughed. "Chucked him in the canal, once you got caught and everything." Cian felt a sharp pain in his chest. It had all been so pointless. As they walked, Cian thought back to last night, how P.C. Sharma had been kind to him. really kind, even though he'd been caught stealing from a bookshop, trashing it. PC, Sharma, said she'd drive Kian home, but she brushed Kian down first and found the special book. "Is this yours?" the policewoman asked. "Yeah," Kian replied. "Where did you get it?" Kian shrugged, thought about lying, then admitted it. "From the bookshop, just now. Can I keep it?" "No." Having the book taken from him hurt Kian more than losing all the other books, and even more than what happened next. Eddie had been solemn and calm with PC Sharma when they got home, but once the door was shut and the police had driven off, Eddie had gone mental. Mum did nothing. She didn't even come out of the front room. She might as well have not been there. Kian thought back to how the special book had felt in his hands. He could almost smell it, see the words, "This story is for you," inside, handwritten by the real author. Suddenly, he didn't want to be with Sean and Molly. They'd been so mean to him the night before, and they'd been mean to him again. And again. He knew that, but Kian didn't want to go home either. It was a good idea not to go home at the best of times, but the weekends were worst. Arriving at Uncle Ian's, which backed onto the canal, Cav pushed him in the chest, and the younger boy fell backwards, his arms flapping into the air. As Sean hit the water with a huge splash, the brick exploded on the metal sheet, covering the window. Molly and Cav hooted with laughter. I've missed a bit out there, haven't I? Right, I'm going to go back to arriving at Uncle Ian's. And this is to show you that people make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, it's really good to do it again, just to try and do it again. Even me, who's supposed to be a well-known author, the reason I'm quite good at writing is because I make mistakes. I see what I've made and I do them. I do it again, and that means I do all right as a writer. So we're going to go back to arriving at Uncle Ian's and see what I've missed out. Arriving at Uncle Ian's, which backed onto the canal, Cav picked up a half brick. "Do you reckon you can hit that top window?" he asked Sean. Molly laughed. "He ain't strong enough," she goaded. Sean took hold of the brick, stepped back and threw, and as he did so, Cav pushed him in the chest, and the younger boy fell backwards, his arms flapping at thin air. As Sean hit the water with a huge splash, the brick exploded on the metal sheet covering the window. Molly and Cav hooted with laughter. Sean swore and spluttered. Cav picked up another brick and threw it into the water so it splashed Sean. Kian turned and walked away without saying a word. It was a good 30 seconds before the others noticed. "Where is he going? What's up with him? Leave him, he's an idiot." More laughter. Kian expected a half brick to hit him on the back of the head, but he wasn't going to run or shield himself. If it hit him, let it hit him. It didn't matter, so long as he wasn't with them anymore. Kian saw faces looking down from upstairs windows. Looking up at one window, he recognised Mrs. Kaminsky, who used to be a dinner lady at school. He paused a moment. He wanted so much to walk up her pretty drive, through the garden with its colourful flowers. He wanted to knock on her door and go into the house. He wanted to be warm. He wanted to eat the tasty food she would cook. He wanted to belong. With a shake of his head, he pulled his hoodie and carried on walking. He walked out of the estate, going the long way round to avoid his house. Walking past the houses with neat, tidy lawns, he imagined what it would be like to be inside each one. Why did he have to live in the run-down house with the overgrown garden? He walked and walked, aimlessly at first, and then, once he had his big idea, with purpose. The bookshop was shut. No one was inside, so Kian stood right up to the window and stared at the little table with the signed copies of Escape to the Future on it. The bookshop looked warm and comfortable. It had been tidied. The Gruffalo was back on his feet. Kian imagined spending the rest of the day inside the shop, on his own in the half light, with no one to make him feel bad. He might even read a bit. Yeah, that would be nice. Very nice. He knew school didn't like him using the word nice, but today it felt like the right word. He waited until no one was around, then slowly, unsurely, holding his breath, he pulled the brass key out of his pocket. And that's the end of chapter 2, and I hope you enjoyed it, and chapter 3 will be published shortly. Cheers.